One of the biggest issues most people encounter when migrating to Canada is getting a job. And also, I know that some other people try to look for a job to use that as a means to migrate to Canada. Some people are lucky, while some others are not so lucky due to lack of information. In this video, I will be sharing with you my story, how I got a job right before landing into Canada, the strategies that you can use, tips that you can use, and also where you can apply to, job boards you can apply to. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Suleeha. I'm a Nigerian residing in Ontario, Canada. My content being towards talking about daily vlogs, DIY Canada talks, general vlogs, immigration talks. Thank you so much for all the support on my last video. It was amazing and I couldn't believe all the love that you guys showed me on that videos. I welcome all my new subscribers, and to the old returning subscribers, I say thank you so much for sticking by on this channel, and I really appreciate your time for watching my videos. If you are a new subscriber stumbling on this channel for the very first time, please subscribe to my channel if my content interests you, and I'm pretty sure that you would not regret following my channel. Like I said, in today's video, I would be talking about job strategies. I would also be talking about my own experience as it relates to getting a job. So the first thing that I would be talking about is your resume. With resume, I'm pretty sure that you've all heard when people say that Canadians have the Canadian resume format style, where it is different from what we used to use back in Nigeria or wherever you are coming from. So with Canada, it is very straight to the point, short, nothing too long. You can check online for websites that you can check to build your Canadian style format. I'm pretty sure that there's lots of information as to what a Canadian resume should look like in terms of style and in terms of format. That's the first thing. Second thing is, as a new immigrant, basically coming to Canada, make sure that you change your address, make sure to put your new Canadian number, and make sure to put your skills, experiences are included in your resume. One tip and one advice that I would say to you when you're doing your resume is to always look at the job description of the job that you're applying to. If you have experience in that job, tailor your resume to look like what the job description is talking about, because sometimes I've heard that there's a system that filters out some resume when you don't meet up to what the recruitment companies or what the company is looking for. So you would need to make sure that the job description almost is similar to what you have on your resume. Don't use a resume that you've used for one company for another company. Always try to tailor your resume to meet the needs of the company that you want to apply to. If you are in Nigeria or if you are anywhere in the world planning to come to Canada, you've already gotten your PR, or you know that in time you would be getting your PR. What I would advise that you do is make your resume. When you make your resume, change the address. Buy it. You can buy. There are some telephone numbers you can buy online. They are virtual telephone number. For example, I know about Dingtone because that was what I used. So you can use Dingtone. I think you need to pay per month to use the line. You buy a line on Dingtone and you can then put it on your resume so that they can contact you whenever they want to. And as well, you can also put your email so that they can reach out to you via your email as well, even when the number doesn't go through. As long as you know that you would be landing pretty soon, it is just wise and advisable to add those information to your resume. Also, for somebody that is out of the country looking to get hired, make sure that all your information are that they are included in the resume. Make sure that your profile summary is on point, so that anyone looking at the information in your resume is attracted to want to continue reading the resume. So that's just it. Make sure that the informations that are not necessary to be included in your resume is removed from your resume. Say your religion, your date of birth, your marital status, some informations that needs to be removed from your resume should be removed. I would say that some other information that you can input into your resume, you can add your volunteering skills, whether you volunteered, you can have that information in your resume. You can also add your skills, what you can do in terms of transferable skills. You can add that as well to your CV. Just make sure to sell yourself in your resume. Another important factor is to always add, I wouldn't say always, but I just like to do it sometimes, is to always add a cover letter to your application. What is a cover letter? Cover letter is just a brief explanation of who you are and also what you can do, confirming to the hiring manager that these are my skills. I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do that. You can put all of that in your cover letter. If you do not know how to write a cover letter for your role, ChatGPT is a new AI that you can use. ChatGPT is so amazing. A lot of people, I don't know why they've not tapped into using ChatGPT to do all of these things.
Guys, I decided to show you what ChatGPT looks like. You go on Google, open AI.com. Once the website opens, this is what it looks like. You look around and you look for where it says try ChatGPT. Once you click that, it opens up to a new page for you. Usually it pops up to a login page, but I'd already logged in and I see that it's expired. So I need to re-log in and put in my password, but you as a new user have to create. So it brings you to this page, and you can as well tell ChatGPT to write a cover letter for a lawyer. Look at it, it brings it out, the hiring manager, all the information that you need, it brings everything out for you. You can also tell it to also write a resume for a lawyer. It would certainly be able to do all of that for you. This is just the power that ChatGPT has. That this is how much of what you can use ChatGPT for. See, it's bringing out all the information of how to write a Canadian style resume. That's even if you're too lazy to write a resume. You can also, like I said, if you don't know the type of job roles to apply for, you can tell ChatGPT, according to your resume, what are the job roles that a lawyer can apply to. And it will bring up those job roles for you to be able to see what it looks like, what are the job roles that you can apply to, and then that's it.
Do not be lazy. ChatGPT would, of course, give you the format that you need. It would write it in good English for you. What you need to do is then put your human connection, put your story to that cover letter. Don't just leave it as it is, because the AI has written what they deem fit from what you've provided it. So just make sure to put the information that you can connect to it to the cover letter, so that the hiring manager can see all of that information behind why you would need to be hired or why they should hire you. Next thing that I would talk about is the fact that once your resume is sorted, you have your cover letter sorted, all of that experiences and the skills, all of that are included in your resume. The next thing to do is to find where to get the job. So this is what then happens. There are so many job boards across the internet where you can search for jobs, and I'll just list a few and also put them in the description box below. The first one that we all know that is really popular is Indeed. You go on Indeed, make sure that it is Indeed for Canada and not Indeed for UK, because I'm pretty sure that there's Indeed almost everywhere in some places, but I know that Canada has its own, so you need to make sure that it is the Indeed Canada. When you finish on that, you register the account. Once you register the account, then you can then sign up for jobs that or roles that might fit you perfectly. We have monster.ca, we have careerjet.ca, we have Eluta, we have JobBank, we have Glassdoor, and we have Simply Hired. My favorite of all, which is actually where I got the job that I applied for, was Flex Job. And I would explain later on my experiences, as I've said. We also have LinkedIn, and we also have networking. And I used to say my also another one of my favorite, word of mouth. We need to be able to tell people to refer us to their company if they're hiring. This is your skills. This is what you have. A closed mouth would not get fed. So if you're uptight and if you don't want to tell people that you're jobless or you need to get a job, then I don't know what else would help you. All of these websites that I have just mentioned and that I would be linking in the description box, you would need to register to each and every one of them. You can set up notifications for when job that are similar to what you want pop up. You can set up notification for that to inform you when jobs are available. Just make sure that you keep applying. One of my favorite advice is to apply to those top tier companies, because be sure that even if you apply to 50, I'm pretty sure that 10 will get back to you. If you apply to 60, be rest assured that 12 will get back to you, as long as you know that you are doing the work. And like I said when I talked about resume the other time, make sure to look at the job description of each jobs that you intend to apply to, and make sure that it is similar to what you have in your resume, so that you are not just screened out and you're not able to qualify or move on to the next stage of the application. Which then brings me to the next thing, which is the interview skills that you need to possess. Interview skills that you need to possess. YouTube is a really, really great place to learn. There are so many people that have talked about interview skills, what you can do, how you can speak to an interviewer. Those information are all over the internet. It just takes you to find that information and then be able to use that information wisely. I used to say one thing: your resume and your cover letter might take you to the door because you have all of those experiences. But then your interview skills or what you say at your interview might might either make you or mar you. So you need to prep yourself properly. You need to be able to, market yourself when you speak to the hiring manager or the recruiter or whoever it is that you would be speaking with. One thing that I like to say is, because we know that we don't have the Canadian experience, or because you know that you've not really worked in Canada, it's best to always show to the hiring manager by explaining and selling yourself that you know that you do not have the Canadian experience, but you can assure the hiring manager that all of that can be covered up with your skills and all of the knowledge that you've gained from your previous experiences. It's just the ability to be able to market yourself, considering the experiences that you have, regardless of the fact that you've never worked in Canada. So there are different. Another thing as well, when it comes to job boards or international agencies that recruit right from out of the country to come and work in Canada, your best place is to go on Google and to search for international recruitment agencies in Canada. I've been able to look up and check out some, and also read their reviews. I went online and I was able to see some, which I would also be linking in the description box. I do not have any affiliation with them. I only did my research, and I was able to look through to their reviews to see that they've been able to assist quite a lot of people to come into the country. And each of these agencies have the type of recruitment that they do. They do not just bring every single person into the country. They are specific and they are particular to the ones they bring into the country. Just to list a few quickly, we have Van Ack for the tech. You can just go on Van Ack's website, see how they operate, see how they bring in people, look at the documentations, and see what you need to do to meet the requirement. So have Ace Recruitment, We also have Drake International. Also have Hire Immigrant, Outpost Recruitment. All of these companies all have websites. Don't let anyone tell you that they can get you a job. You need to pay. They will bring you to Canada. All of those things always has its consequences. And these are places that you can go online. You can Google them out. Once you Google them out, get their contact them forms or get their email addresses, send them an email to convince them on what you need to do to be able to get a job with them to come and work in Canada. Make sure that you get all the right information. Make sure that you check whether you meet up to their requirements. My topmost advice as well is we know that we can be very scared when it comes to applying to these jobs. Don't be scared. Challenge yourself. Don't let imposter syndrome get to you. The best you would get is no, we are sorry, we would not be able to sponsor you. Or no, you are sorry, or we are sorry, you would not be able to offer you a job. But at least you've known that you know that you've tried to apply for the job. Which brings me to my own experience, telling you guys I was able to get a job before landing in Canada. How we started was that I when I knew that I had already gotten my PPR, which was my passport request for my PR, the next thing that I started doing was I started looking for jobs that I could do when I get to Canada. I looked around, I knew that I couldn't do my law job, of course, because I needed to be licensed to practice in Canada. So what I did was I looked at my transferable skills and I started looking for jobs in those lights. The next thing I did was I created a resume um, to look like the Canadian format style. I made sure to put all the informations, to put my skills, and also to put my experiences in my resume. So after I did that, I made sure that the resume was really, really watertight and I did not leave anything out. I did my cover letter to several companies, different company, particularly peculiar to the companies. I did my cover letter to that company that to the companies that I wanted to apply to. And then the next thing that I did was I started utilizing the job boards. Like I said, because I wanted, something remote. I wanted to work remotely. I looked at remote jobs because that was what I wanted at the time. The website that I really liked and I was able to get value for the money that I paid because on flex jobs, you would need to pay to be able to have access to the full information on the website. So I subscribed for a month on Flex Job. I saw various jobs. I applied to about 6 jobs on the website. Flex Job, I paid for that. In fact, they slashed the amount 50% off because I was I was using their platform for the first time. So I used that and I used the whole 1 month to look for different jobs and I started applying. I started applying. I was able to do some interviews and some of course did not pull through, wasn't successful, and the ones that were successful I was able to then consider which one was going to be best for me, which one was the one that I was going to pick. So I did some assessment as well. I kept applying still. So when I was done applying, because I knew that I was going to land soon anyway, my address on my resume, I changed it to the Canadian address. I also bought a Dingtone line and I put that up on my line as a virtual on my resume as a virtual line that I had. So after that, I also added my email in case there was going to be any correspondences from the companies that I applied to. Fortunately for me, one of them got back to me, and one of them also set up an interview date with me. So after about 2 weeks of applying, of setting the interview, I did the interview, and I can assure you that the interview basically really just bordered on my skills. They wanted to know a time when I had done this, what I did. It was basically a STAR approach. I don't know if anybody knows what the STAR approach means. So it was basically a STAR approach method of interview. And if anyone doesn't know what the STAR approach method of interview is, it was basically the situation, the task, the approach and the result that I used. So all the question tailored towards that line, and I was able to, deal with those questions because I knew what I wanted to say and I was already prepared beforehand for the interview. So I did that interview for about 30 minutes, and then I was expecting a feedback from them. I also did another interview. It was similar. I tend to realize that a lot of Canadian HR use the STAR method to interview people because it's always tell me a situation, what happened, describe it, the action you took, and the result that just came after that. So majority of them use that style in interviewing. And like I said, as long as you're able to sell yourself, market yourself, you should be good to go. So after that, I waited for about 2 weeks and I got a letter to say that I was successful and they would like to, proceed. I just needed to fill some forms and that was it. Remember that I was not in the country, and I just didn't mention that because that did not come into an issue because I had already used, I think because I already used a Canadian address and I had already used a Canadian telephone number as well. So that didn't come up at all in issue. So the next thing that happened was when I was sent the information, I was then asked to provide my SIN number and some random informations that I did not have. So what did I do? What I did was I just sent an email back to say that I'm not in the country yet. I'm a new immigrant to land on so dates. Can I do this when I land? And the guy was like, oh, sure. Just put a blank dot in those sites that requires you to put a number, and then you can follow up, or we can follow up when you get into the country. And so that was it. And that was how I got this job. It was just all about putting the right information in my resume. It wasn't too, I would say that yes, I applied to almost 50 jobs. But then the few ones that got back to me and the ones that I ignored were also part of it. So applying rigorously is the motto. Don't give up. Don't let imposter syndrome get to you. Don't be don't think that you might not be able to get the job. You get what I mean? Even though at the end of the day, I declined the job for personal reasons because, of course, I wasn't ready to get back into the job market at the moment. I refused the job upon landing into Canada. Same applies to the second one as well. I declined that because I wasn't ready to work. But this just proved from my experiences that doing the work, putting the work, getting your resume to be uptight, your cover letter to be uptight, and applying to those job boards, you would certainly be able to, get the job. You might not, it might take a while because it might not be immediately, but certainly you would be able to get the job. In conclusion to all of those things that I've said, the first thing being that make sure that your resume is great, is towards the Canadian style. All your skills are there. Please and please do not put 10 years of experience in your resume. Nobody wants to read a 10 paragraph resume. Please make sure that the job skills that are on your resume are something that is similar to the job that you're applying for. So if you're applying for, say, for example, you're applying for a customer service role and you are busy putting something that is not related to customer service, it's taking up space, remove it. Or for example, you want to apply for a data entry role or contract manager, please make sure that the things that are going to be in your resume are similar to the job that you want to apply for. Don't put anything unnecessary, if as short as it can be. The cover letter as well, do not make a mistake of using a cover letter that you've applied for a job to apply to another job. Like I said, using ChatGPT is great. Putting the human emotion, telling your story in your cover letter is top notch, is amazing. Do not make a mistake of generalizing a cover letter for 10 jobs at the same time. It doesn't really speak well. And at the same time, it's more or less like you are being lazy. You are not putting so much effort into applying to that job. The third thing is the job boards. LinkedIn is a great way of reaching out to hiring managers. You can reach out to hiring managers on LinkedIn. And like I said, there are several other job boards that I would be putting in the description box for you to be able to check and to be able to see to be able to see the jobs that you need. Sometimes those jobs are replicated more than 3 times. But once you come across it, you will see that you've applied for this job. Then finally, if you are a new immigrant, you've already gotten your PR, or your wife is coming with you as a student on the open work permit, even as a student as well, make sure that you've already started applying right wherever you are. Or if you feel that you don't need to rush when you come to Canada, do all of the above stated, and then you can then start applying for those jobs. But if you intend to apply before you get to Canada, look at those companies recruiting. Google is your friend. You can always research for companies that are recruiting at the moment. It would take nothing. The times that you spend online, you can use that to research for all of this information. And like I said, I will also put some recruitment companies that I've stumbled across during my research, and I'll put them under the description box as well, and see how they recruit internationally, whether you qualify, whether you are able to meet up to those standards. So that's that on job strategies, how I got my job when I landed to Canada, and what I think you can do. Talking from my own experiences, what I think you can do to be able to secure a job from anywhere you are, or even while you are in Canada. I hope you were able to pick a thing or two from this video. I say thank you for sticking out and watching till the end. If you have any information you would like to share, please put it in the comment section so that all other persons can see from the comment section. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment in the comment section, and I'll see you guys back in my next video. Bye.